Tonight's Roads Ministry said to cancel nearly 2,000 suspicious road claims, including bitumen contract, steel bridge works, and rehabilitation projects worth a staggering 72 billion cedis. The move comes as the government prepares to crack down on companies accused of submitting fake documents and billing for projects that were never executed.
Don't pay because the liabilities, some are recycled IPCs, work done already, and they are recycling it and for the state to pay. Some have falsified stores received advice and asking the state to pay.
Exclusive data available to Joy News research shows a staggering 4.7 billion cedis already thrown out, including over 100 million cedis in rejected Ofanko Insaom Road claims and controversial solar street light deals. We have details on Top Story shortly. Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, also by Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy Holy Sleep, and by Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Now, tonight, close to 2,000 questionable road claims, including bitumen contract, steel bridge works, and rehabilitation project risk cancellation at the Roads Ministry, with a total value exceeding 72 billion cedis, as government prepares to expose companies accused of filing fake documents and billing for projects that never happened. And our exclusive data available to Joy News Research shows that a staggering 4.7 billion cedis have already been thrown out, including over 100 million cedis in rejected Ofanko and Sam Road claims and controversial solar street lighting deals. Some of the claims, we are told, had already been validated and were simply awaiting payment. Others had been forwarded to the Controller and Accountant General's department, but there were no funds available at the time to honor them. A significant portion, however, could not be validated at all, raising questions about the legitimacy of these requests. Finance Minister Dr. Kesala Tuforson had earlier hinted about the audit and the staggering findings. He spoke with Evans Mensah on PM Express. Listen.
On.
Yes.
You're now updating Parliament on this, the audit of the arrears and payables. You had received 68.8 billion that was submitted for audit. So you put it before an audit, and then you have discovered, based on your budget today, that 47.8 billion was legitimate.
Legitimate. And then another 8.6 billion. The auditor says they can write it off, but because they are waiting for third-party confirmations.
Yeah. Third-party confirmations
and lack of supporting contracts. And so it doesn't mean the liability does not exist. It does exist, but they need more information. And so they will hold on to this, that if they have advertised, and in advertising it, they have asked the companies to submit information, and based on that information, they will decide to add it to this or reject it completely. But the one that the auditors are certain with is that they have rejected 10 billion Ghana cedis.
10 billion?
10 billion Ghana cedis that don't pay.
Because?
Don't pay because the liabilities, some are recycled IPCs, work done already, and they are recycling it and for the state to pay. Some have falsified stores received advice and asking the state to pay, and some are fictitious. Look, the report will be published next week. It will blow your mind.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it is damning, in fact, troubling. I put it this way. The one that shocked me most, and I said to my staff at the ministry that, look, when I got in and I said, stop all the payment, let's do the audit before anything goes. And they said, oh, but what about the ones at the controller and the Bank of Ghana and it's going? I said, no, it has to be stopped.
So you stopped all that?
I stopped all of that. And some of them felt that, oh, as for that one, it's been processed and it's legitimate and all. I said, stop it. My instinct in me says, stop it. Let's subject it to arrest, to audit. You know how much was there? 13 billion. That 13 billion, the Auditor General has validated 12. 1 billion, the Auditor General said, don't pay, they are fictitious.
So somebody just concocted
And
figures and sent you to pay.
these are invoices, interim payment certificates that has gone through all the process, and it's only waiting at the Auditor General's office, the Controlling Accountant General's office, and Bank of Ghana, just waiting for cash for payment. If not that audit, Ghana would have lost that one.
Who are those responsible for this?
Oh, yes, the names are there. The audit will be out, and so they will publish not only their names but the companies and all the people behind it. And so I didn't want it to overshadow the policies, the excellent policies in the budget. And so I felt that I should present the budget first.
You said
the
Auditor
General will present.
So that is the Finance Minister, the Dr. Kesalato Forson, speaking to Joy News senior, Evans Mason on PM Express, and I've been joined in the studio by head of Joy News Research, Isaac Kofi Ajay, who has been coming through the special report and joins me in studio with some details. Kofi, let's first of all start with the headline figure. Exactly how much are we looking at?
Well, so Kojo, we are still waiting for the AG's final report, but this is the AG database, very, very bulky data that we have been mining the whole day. And in fact, our findings shows that if you look at the roads ministry, there are about 1,901 road certificates for payment that are currently pending validation. 1,901 road certificate payment pending validation. And in fact, if you look at the monetary value of this 1,901 claims, it's about 72.5 billion Ghana cedis, and this is what we are getting from the data mining that we did from the AG's own database that it put out, where it gave the companies involved up to 7th November to validate or risk cancellation. Kojo.
So these companies, you say that out of the 901, it is what the AG is asking them to validate.
1,901.
And he's asking them to validate before 7th December. Or risk payment.
Risk payment or risk cancellation.
Okay.
And in fact, if we should go through the various claims, if you take
exactly, that's what I was going to show.
A sub-claim like rejected claims and commitment under this whole 1,901 claims, we found 209 rejected claims and commitments just under the Ministry of Health. Ministry of Transport, Roads and Highways alone. 290, and the monetary value is 4.7 billion. It means that out of this 72.5 billion questionable road claims, 4.7 billion have been rejected and the commitment cancelled. In terms of claims and commitment pending validation, we found 1,566 worth 67.7 billion Ghana cedis. These are the road, commitments and claims pending validation. If you go to BTAs here, bank transfer advices, it simply means that information about the company has been given bank. The bank, the name of the company, the account number, and everything has been given for payment to go through. Even with that, the BTA's pending validation, we were able to find 31 of them worth 23.4 million Ghana cedis. Rejected BTAs, out of this, 14 were found as rejected BTAs, means that the bank transfer advices that we're actually going through, but the Finance Minister or the Auditor General had to reject them, that don't go ahead to pay. That alone was around 27.3 million Ghana cedis. So total is what is giving us that 72.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, I want us to go to the Ofankor in Sawam Road, because that's a major road that we've been talking about for a long time. And if you go on that tangent, for instance, we found 3 claims made by the contractor working on that road. 3 claims made so far worth about 102.3 million Ghana cedis. That has been rejected by the Auditor General and has gone ahead to tell the Finance Ministry, don't pay this because we have rejected this claim. So in total, we found 1,901 questionable claims just under the Ministry of Roads and Highways alone, worth 72.5 billion Ghana cedis.
On the Ofanko, for example, did they give reasons why they rejected the claim?
Well, reasons are not given, but it will state the name of the company or the contractor working on that road, the claims, and the amount involved. For instance, if you go on the boundary road, for instance, there was a contract or there was a claim for, on the replacement of solar street lights, batteries on the boundary road by a certain company. We don't want to mention companies at this point. That amount involved was around 1.5 million Ghana cedis for replacement of solar street lights and batteries. All of these claims have been rejected. And according to the AG, don't go ahead to pay these claims because we have rejected them. 1.5 million Ghana cedis for replacement of solar street light batteries on just boundary road.
Thank you very much, Isaac Ofori. We have more on this here on Top Story. Well, Top Star, as always, is brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, also by Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil Enjoy Holy Sleep, and by Assured Pension Trust into the future with you. Let's bring in Emmanuel Cherry, he's CEO, Chamber of Construction Industry. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, how do you explain these staggering figures that some of your members presented for payment, but we are told are fictitious? Mr. Cherry, did you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. So I want to find out from you how you explain why some of your members presented claims to be paid for work that we understand or are being told were never done.
Yeah, first of all, let me thank you so much for such an opportunity. Where we have gotten to as an industry, I believe the best thing for us to do is for us to at least do an in-house cleaning. And then the government of the day is trying to help us do that as a matter of urgency. However, the issues on the table for discussion, some of them may be valid, but some of them may be technical error. Technical error in the sense that, most of the times, work, and then for instance, like a road fund contract, that the contractor has worked and submitted an entering payment certificate, expecting payment. Upon waiting for a number of months, years, and then no payment since forthcoming, what then they do is, if they hear that GOG, that Government of Ghana or Consolidated, this thing is making payments, then some of them quickly goes in and then they extract their IPC and then they move it to the GOG list. So after moving it to GOG list, what then happens is the road fund, the certificate is captured in there, all right, but that certificate has found a space on the GOG list, and then if payment is being made, then it's likely at times there's been captured on the GOG list. So instead of the road fund to quickly clear those particular IPCs out of their system, you will still find it there. Meanwhile, the payment has been made by GOG, that's the consolidated fund. So these are some of the challenges that came to our desk. And then we trying to at least sensitize our people that if you want to do anything of this nature, use the due process to make sure that you don't find yourself in the web as it's happening now. Because if it happens this way, if your care is not taken, it becomes a criminal issue. You can be blacklisted out of the system or out of the industry. So therefore, in fact, it's a wake-up call for us. Also, it isn't an intention for a contractor to say he's raising double certificate and what have you. Some of them, as you and I know, there are bad not among everybody, every society, every family, what have you. There are no matter what bad elements that you definitely find. That one you cannot defend. You cannot speak for. So therefore, those ones are also there. But there are some also which are legitimate. But because of certain administrative error, it happens to find itself this way.
So, per your explanation, there sometimes are double payment for same work done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So instead of what do you call it, you, the administrator, how do you call it, the administrator of road fund, if a contractor comes and he says he's now moving his IPC from road fund payment list to GOG, the best thing you do, if you should give that particular person the honor to move, then what must you do? Take it out of your list. But if it's not taken out, and then you have that particular certificate, the same certificate, find a place on the GOG list, and payment is being made, which means if road fund is going to be making payment, it's likely it's going to make that payment again, which is going to be double payment.
But for your members who receive double payment, isn't it their responsibility to alert the government agency that I have been paid for this work done?
Some of them do, but as I told you, there are some bad nuts amongst every community, society, and what have you, that you cannot, no matter how hard you try, you still find them amongst you. So therefore, they are there. So that's why the laws are also there. So if you find out that this particular person is trying to play smart or outsmart the system, then the law must take its own course. But some of them, they are legitimate. Some of them, they are technical error or administrative error that has, orchestrated that particular challenges that we are confronted with now.
So as a chamber, if you hear that a member of your chamber has been paid for same work done twice, what do you do? Or what have you been doing?
Yeah, sincerely, this issue came to our attention last June. It was recently after the government of the day decided to commit itself into auditing. And that is where some of these issues start coming. And then some of the contractors came out openly to confess. So that is where some of us get to know that this is what is happening. And then we don't spread them, we expose them as well. Because as it is, we are trying to build a country. And therefore, any criminal element among us that want to outsmart the system must be punished accordingly.
How many contractors were paid double for the same work?
For now, I cannot speak to it because the Minister for Finance at our last engagement made it known to us that a report will be made available.
No, so, you mentioned a while ago that some of your members came out to confess, and I'm asking how many are these members?
You said?
You just told us a while ago that some of your members came out to confess that they've been paid double for same work done, and I'm asking how many are these members?
No, what I said, the double payment, the issue that came out, the explanation they were giving is what I said earlier on, that they moved their IPC from road fund into GOG list, and payment has been made. So it's later on found out that their same IPC is still on the list of a road fund. So some of them went in there to cancel it.
Okay.
That is where the administrative error comes from.
Okay.
And then some of them too, they were not bold enough to tell us that whether they have been paid or not. But the ones who came out openly to tell us that this is the challenge in the system, they were 5 in number at the time.
All right. Oh, great. Do stay with me. Let me bring in Kenneth Osenyako. He is ranking member on the Roads and Transportation Committee of Parliament. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, you being on the committee and hearing this revelation, that some over 1,900 IPCs are to be rejected because there were no work done for them. I mean, what will you do as a committee to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
First of all, let me thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to your cherished listeners. I think this normally happens when there's a change of government. If you remember in 2017, when President Akufo-Addo and the MPP government came in, they did a similar thing. They audited about 11.2 billion outstanding government claims, and at the end of the auditing exercise, the auditor disallowed or rejected almost about 5.7 billion, representing about 51% of the claims that were sent on the various MMDAs for government to pay. A similar one has been done by this government, which per the reports that I've read, I mean, almost about 8 billion were disallowed, and the 2 billion of BTA, that is bank transfer advices, were also rejected or disallowed. What it means is that, like the earlier speaker said, most of these contractors, they do projects for a long time. Some have done it 3 years, they are not paying them. So some of them use their own connections or links to get payment from the consolidated fund. For example, if the contractor has done a work, I raised a certificate almost 2 years for under road fund, they are not paying that contractor. And he has some link or somebody, so I can help you to get your payment from the Ministry of Finance, that is from GOG. The person will oblige and he say, okay, go ahead. They work out because there's no they don't keep proper documentation. When such things are done, that contractor can, if it's a bad nut, will just take the money, the payment from the GOG and come again and take the 1-2 from road fund. And that is very criminal. And so if you're a contractor and you happen to involve yourself in such thing, I mean, nobody has to pardon you on that. You need to be punished. The law has to take it on course and they punish you. I mean, because it is criminally offense, and you don't have to engage yourself into that as a contractor. Once you have gotten your money, you have been paid. But I don't also blame them.
But once you say they do not keep proper documentation, and we're talking about billions of Ghana cedis, that's worrying. If people are in charge of paying these contractors are not keeping proper documentation, we should all be worried. What are you doing as a committee to ensure that this is correct?
You see, yes, I think as a committee, this matter has been brought before the committee by the minister. Just about 3 days ago, when we were considering the ministry's estimate, it came out strongly. The discussion came, and I think we have also made some few suggestions. We told the minister that issue a circular and a stern warning to whether to the road fund or for all the agency heads that you cannot, if a contractor has done any work under road fund, nobody has any right to transfer their payment to GOG or to the Ministry of Finance for payment. If there's a delay with the road fund, then I mean they should deal with it. But they cannot write secretly a letter to justify why that contractor need to be paid, and now they go to finance ministry to pay that contractor. And the problem is because of also the late releases of this road fund money to the road fund secretariat. That is why it is causing all this. Because if the money, look at the entire year, we are in December, not a penny have been released to road fund. So if that contractor was expecting some payment, and since January to now, he has not received a penny from the road fund, and he has some link to get his money paid from the consolidated fund, then he will quickly smuggle it and go there.
But must it just be a stern warning? Mustn't people face the full rigors of the law if they engage in these practices, which of course you can even equate to thievery?
Come again.
I'm asking, should it just be a stern warning, but not be arrested and be surcharged for the losses to the country?
Oh, of course. If any contractor has been engaged in this criminality or criminal offenses, you know what the law says. I mean, that person shouldn't be spared. But the problem is,
including officers of the agencies who supervise these dealings, not so.
Now you see, the one who writes even for a contractor to be paid or his payment to be transferred from one funding sources to other is the minister. It is only the minister who can write to the Minister of Finance that pay this contractor from road fund. He's moving that contractor from road fund to the GOG areas for them to pay. It is the minister. No agency head can write. Maybe before they do, but now during President Akufo-Addo time, you cannot. It's only the minister that can write that letter, request letter to the Minister of Finance for them to be paid.
So you're saying that if it was the minister who did it, he must be arrested?
I mean, he has to account for. If the minister has approved double payment, why should you spare anybody? Then that minister has to account for it. If the minister knows that this contractor has been paid already at GOG, and they write another letter that contractor should be paid again to under road fund, I mean, why do we shield such a person? It is not the agency head that right. So if it is the minister or is the chief director that has written those letters for the contractor to be paid twice, you don't only blame the contractor for that. You have to, the person who wrote the letter also needs to be queried.
Okay.
And that is how it should be handled.
Can we get assurance from you and your committee that you will ensure these things do not happen again?
I mean, we have already advised the minister, we told the minister what he should do to be able to mitigate these issues. And he has also taken our advice. So let's see how it goes. As we go, things goes on. Let's see how the ministry will handle it.
But will we see you take this up on the floor if nothing happens?
I believe the minister will definitely do something about it. But if he doesn't do anything about it, the committee will take it up.
Okay, grateful. Emmanuel Cherry, you said earlier that the contractors must do house cleaning. What do you actually mean?
But let's be sincere here. What is necessitating this? The root cause of this problem must be addressed head on. The cause is delay payment. If you don't have budget line for a project, don't award it. Immediately you go to award it, a contractor has mobilized and go to site, definitely he will come with a bill. If he comes with the bill and then payment is delaying, frustration set in, as the ranking said. And if it happens that way, you and I know that if you are working for years now and then you are not being paid, how do you survive? How do you take care of your bill? Is it overhead costs? So these are the challenges, and then we are happy to hear that the government of the day says until the finance minister gives you a clearance, there is no way any project that has been awarded will see payment. So therefore, it's a warning to contractors. It's a lesson we are all learning.
Okay.
To clean the system, to help the industry become robust, and then we protect the industry and then the national purse from these leakages. If not so,
okay.
Delay payment, interest or delay payment alone is much more than the contract itself.
All right. I'm grateful to you. Emmanuel Cherry is the CEO of the Chamber of Construction Industry. This has been Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, holding certified spray and coil, and also by Shield Pension Trust. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Newsnight.
And coming up on Newsnight tonight, the much anticipated ratification of Ghana's lithium mining deal is facing further delays as the government seeks to amend the law on royalties to secure a better deal for the state.
We'll be coming to, once we finish your cabinet, we'll be coming to Parliament with a new instrument that will permanently lay a complete comprehensive guideline on royalties.
More as Lands Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa says government hasn't ruled out state-led ownership and mining of the resource.
President Mahama is open to anything that will get Ghana to win. This is the government that has been preaching empowerment of the Ghanaian. This is the government that simply signal that the times when Ghanaians were at the back of the bus is over.
Also tonight, Ghana Water Limited accepts Public Utility Regulatory Commission's nearly 16% tariff increment from 281% demand over ravaging Galamsey effect on water bodies and rising cost of water treatment, promising to make do with what they have.
it will be a bit difficult, but we've managed the system over all this period, so we hope to work with it. There's been times when there's been reduction in tariffs, and we still managed it with all the challenges. So as a company, we will do our best and ensure that we serve the good people of Ghana.
But how long can the water producer manage the new tariff? As the minority in parliament insists, both the ECG and GWL must improve service delivery to justify the new rate.
With this increment. So I'm hoping that ECG services will improve, VRA services will improve, and all the other utility agents, Ghana Water services should improve.
Also here tonight, opposition MPP says Ghana's democracy is at risk as it accuses the governing NDC of orchestrated efforts to control the courts and stifle free speech. In business,
industries to pass on cost of expected tariffs to consumers from next year.
In sports,
Division 2 side True Life FC sends Accra Hearts of Oak packing out of the MTN FA Cup at the round.
And a bit later, Majority Chief Whip and MP for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, drops hint of the party's legal challenges of 2024 election results in 3 more constituencies, expecting a favorable court ruling as soon as next week. We'll tell you more details of these and other stories coming up in the next 1 hour. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
You can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp. It's 055 11 11 997. We have more after this.
Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you can get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you want them. That *530# then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
From Lagos to London, from New York to Kingston, from Durban to Kolegono, everyone's coming to Ghana to taste the culture. On the 26th of December, Black Star Square becomes the heartbeat of the continent with Omale, Tiwa Savage, King Promise, Jackie, and more on stage. It's Taste the Culture, the Black Star Experience. #Taste the Culture is sponsored by Kivo, Boss Energies, and Goyle. Supported by New Gas, Soft Care, and GNBC. Visit www.tastetheculturegh.com for more details.
Christmas, my favorite time of the year. This festive season, Volta Serene Hotel invites you to experience the magic of Christmas and New Year like never before. From 20th of December to the 1st of January, step into a world of joy, music, laughter, and celebration. We begin on the 20th with a soulful carols night, filling the air with warmth and melody. Then, on 23rd and 24th of December, arrive in style as we welcome you with fresh coconut and local treats. Christmas Day brings pure delight, exciting moments for kids, relaxing escape for adults, and an elegant all-white dinner under the stars, crowned with a spectacular fireworks display. On Boxing Day, embrace culture and rhythm, from picnics and traditional dance to an unforgettable high life and old school night. As the week unfolds, enjoy movie nights, live music, karaoke, and endless fun. Until we welcome 2026 with a breathtaking fireworks show on New Year's Eve. Special Christmas packages starting from 4,050 for individuals, 5,250 for couples, and 8,900 Ghana cedis for a family of 4 for 2 nights. Call or WhatsApp 0541 539 867 or 0362 025 243 to book your experience today. Volta Serene Hotel. Feel the serene touch.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theatre made its debut.
Before the God of Iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
We sent you all the way to Ilefe to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand and And in honor of Maoli Semevo, Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents The Gods Are Not to Blame this December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial star 714*46# for your tickets. Single 250 cedis, double 400 cedis. Supported by Newplant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa Graphic Communications Group, and Notify. Sponsors: The Luckiest, Stanbic Bank, Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime TV, and proudly brought to you by MTN.
No matter where we are, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, the call is clear: to power growth and create lasting impact. At Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, we are creating giants and connecting businesses. From financing bold energy projects to enabling cleaner, reliable power for industries, we are fueling Ghana's transformation. With our support, Gensa Energy is delivering sustainable energy that powers Goldfields operations, helping them move closer to cleaner, greener mining. This is a story of how we bring businesses together, create jobs, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Bank, delivering sustainable growth, creating impact. To learn more, visit stanbicbank.com.gh.
You're welcome back. Tonight, the much-anticipated ratification of Ghana's lithium mining deal with Barari DV is facing further delays as the government seeks to amend the law on royalties. Well, the current agreement, which offers a 5% royalty rate, has been widely criticized by civil society organizations and other groups.
Well, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofiboa, told journalists earlier at a press conference that government will introduce legislation to extract a significant increase in royalties for the country.
Technically speaking, what you could refer to was the original one, which says that 5%. I'm very happy to inform you that we've worked closely with the Attorney General. We'll be coming to, once we finish your cabinet, will be coming to Parliament with a new instrument that will permanently lay a complete comprehensive guideline on royalties, not only in the lithium sector but in all minerals. It's very important we do so, having learned lessons as we go forward. Learn lessons. It was very clear, for example, not too long ago, the announce of gold was what? 1,900, 2,500, went over 3,000 and close to 4,000. There's no other mechanism for you to do any adjustment, for example. And so I thought this is the opportunity for us to basically review all of that. And so to balance this objective, the government is proposing a lawful sliding scale royalty mechanism. This structure is designed to safeguard investment and jobs while maintaining a competitive base royalty during periods of low prices, thus ensuring the project's viability. So concurrently, it serves to maximize the national benefit by automatically increasing the royalty rate when lithium prices exceed an agreed upon threshold, ensuring Ghana secures a greater share of the value during market upswings. This approach is not succession but a strategic tool to prevent the project from stalling while guaranteeing the nation gains a fair share of the value when market conditions improve. And there has been a lot of argument. Some people were arguing that when we negotiated a price at $3,000, the royalty was at 10%. I can tell you that what the sliding scale we are doing here is going to probably ensure even a more beneficial approach, because we foresee, for example, that at $3,000, we are not only going to achieve the 10% royalty as has been negotiated, but we are also putting in mechanisms that when the prices go beyond 3,000, we'll go beyond 10%.
So that's the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Ama Kofi Bua, there. And he also said at that particular press conference that government is still open to the idea of state-led utilization of the resources.
And in fact, President Mahama is open to anything that will get Ghana to win. This is the government that has been preaching empowerment of the Ghanaian. This is government. This is the government that simply signaled that the times when Ghanaians were at the back of the bus is over, and that Ghanaians now can't drive, especially in the mining sector. That is why we are saying that we now can really nurture big Ghanaian companies, not only to be ordinary contractors in industries, but to own large-scale mining companies and push. We are the ones that are setting that example. We'll be excited. Let the Ghanaians with the capacity come forward with those proposals. I will support it.
And again, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister also said that with this ratification set to delay, government is not under any pressure to get to the finish line.
In fact, once the agreement is in Parliament, it is really in the custody of Parliament. And I'm very happy to know that as fifth-term member of Parliament, I know the workings of Parliament. I know that this committee is going to do a very thorough job. They have a long journey. I know they've lined up engagement with key stakeholders, including CSOs, including the chiefs, including the community. I believe they are going to basically also start this engagement, this journey. Today, for example, I know they are meeting some of the chiefs from Mankasim, this committee. So it's something that they are going to welcome. So we are working on a parallel path, and I believe we'll converge. And ultimately, this is what I'm saying, by the time we finish, weeks, I have already finished as I said, we already have the draft. We have the drafters who have really informed us that they will be able to get it to us by today. We'll continue the engagement once we have it. And then I'm finally going to take it to Cabinet, get Cabinet to look at it. I've already had a preliminary engagement with key stakeholders even before we started the journey.
Well, you heard the Land and Natural Resources Minister, Emmanuel Ama Kofi Bua. So my colleague and also our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kwekwa Sante, was at this press conference. Kwekwa Sante rather was at this press conference and joins us now via the telephone lines. Kwekwa, good evening. Thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Well, since the minister held this press conference, have we had any reaction from the minority yet?
Well, not at the moment. In fact, at this news conference, prior to this news conference happening, a number of both MPs on both sides of the aisle were there because we're going to hold meetings with the minister on these subjects, and a lot of them telling me that they want some constructive engagement to happen going forward. There's some of them telling me on the record that they are concerned that the minister appears to be dilly-dallying, but they are open to any change of law which will ensure that the country will get more from its resources. So even though we are here to get them on the record, they say that if government brings any good faith attempt to ensure that the country gets much more from its resources like lithium, which is the current subject, they are very much open to looking at that, and they are waiting for the minister to take the regulation to Cabinet. If it gets approval, then it will come to Parliament, and then they will look at that.
And what more happened in the House today?
Well, a lot has been happening regarding the various estimates of the ministries, departments, and agencies. One of the approvals that did generate some storm in the chamber was that of the Special Prosecutor Hassan Tampuli, MP for Gushegu, making a debate on the floor while the estimate for the OSC was being considered, making the point that he believed that the NDC were going after or hounding independent constitutional bodies like the OSP, for instance, and that all these petitions that have gone to the president for the removal of Mr. Gyasi are all made up. He made that point, but there was a forceful response from the majority leaders, if I should say, who have been pushing back, insisting that there's no such attempt. And then there have been certain comments from Adina MP as well as the Mencia North MP as well.
Kwekwa Santi, our parliamentary affairs correspondent, thank you so much for bringing us update from Parliament.
Let's now bring in the Vice Chairman on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee of Parliament, Sanja Nanja. There, thank you for your time this evening. The Lands and Natural Resources Minister earlier at this news conference told journalists that government will introduce a legislation to extract a significant increase in royalties for the Republic. If this eventually gets to Parliament, how much percentage are we looking at?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I
can hear you, sir.
Warmest greetings to you and your listeners this evening. And thank you for reaching out to me. Yes, I think we all need, we want something better for Ghana. And the lithium, as it is a new area we are now venturing into. And it has generated its own issues, especially on the royalties that we pay to the assemblies and then the chiefs. And if there is anything to say, if the minister is bringing something, I think we are all waiting to see what actually is in the new reforms he's bringing, especially with the LI that he's going to introduce. The LI is to actually regulate the way it's to give direction to how the act is going to be implemented. And secondly, we are going to there is also going to be amendments to the current Act 206 Act 703. So it will be a welcoming news if it's bringing something that will benefit Ghanaians, because we are saying that as an artist now, if the amendment we are expecting now that for the Act 703 is that it will help us fight corruption. Galamsey.
Okay.
So, and then a new issue has risen on the royalties. If you look at the Act pegs royalties to be between 3 and 6%. That is, it says that shall not be more than 6% and not less than 3%. So, if I've got your question right, if the minister is bringing a proposal that will increase or will have from his press release today, will give us the flexibility to negotiate royalties rather than the way it is stated in the Act. It will be a very welcoming news.
Okay, this has been ongoing for more than 2 years now. The people, especially in the Ewoya enclave, are yearning for this deal to finally go through. The minister said, although government is not under any pressure, but can you give any assurance to the people of Ewoya that this issue will be dealt with once and for all as soon as possible?
Oh yes, it will be done very soon, and the agreement is laid in Parliament. It's now it has been referred to our committee, and we have started. As much as we will want to rectify the concession, the agreement for Ghanaians to benefit from it, especially those living within the catchment area, the employment aspect, the other social benefits that are going to get.
Okay.
We have to look at the interest of the Ghanaian first. So in this case, unlike the previous parliament, on the old parliament, the issues were three. It was bordering on these royalties, where the minister then said he had negotiated, and it was stated in the agreement, negotiated for 10%. 10% royalties, and the argument was that the 10% was illegal because it had no grounding in law. So that was one of the issues. And then some other civil society organizations like Imani, IEA had brought issues up. They have petitioned them. They had brought memos stating their position. So at that time, we were in opposition, and we said no, we cannot hurry pass or rectify the list until we hear from these people. So currently, yes, the people are yearning. After the minister's press statement, we met with the chiefs from that area. And we have given them all the assurances that we will fast track it, but we will not do it in a way that it will be a disadvantage to Ghanaians.
All right, Mr. Sanja Nanja, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's the Vice Chairman on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee in Parliament. Still on the telephone line, Spell.
Also joining us right now is Akwesi Kunedu, and he's a Deputy Ranking Member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee. Good evening and thank you for your time on Newsnight. You have heard the Lands Minister. He says he'll be coming to Parliament with a new ally to ensure we get more in royalties, not just in lithium, but in all minerals. Does this address your earlier concerns from the minority side?
Hello, good evening. I hope you can hear me well.
I can hear you well.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me say, it is needless for the minister to tell us that up until we can get anything better in terms of royalties for our natural resources, we ought to bring to us an ally that is going to regulate how much we have to earn in terms of royalties. But first and foremost, there is no subsidiary legislation, i.e. an act, a legislative instrument, that is greater or higher or supreme than our constitution. And none of these acts, allies, can confer a concession, the validity of it, or a lease for the right to mine in any minerals in this country, over and above what the Constitution says in Article 2681. And secondly, and most importantly, royalties are charged on the gross revenue of the company that is mining, i.e. whether profitability or not. So as much as the person mines and the rates or the prices of it goes up, the percentage you strike as per the royalty also definitely goes up or goes down with it. So if you tell me you are now coming to give us a range in your airline that they call the sliding scale of royalty, I think it is needless. We are only boxing ourselves into a corner where we believe sincerely that our negotiation ability is weak. And that is why we want to do that. And why do I say so? None of the acts that they talk about is super and above the Constitution Article 260. And the validity of whatever you use the ally to do can only stand when it is ratified by Parliament. When you and I read Article 268 of the Constitution, it tells us in whatever form that agreement may come, whether a contract, agreement, and understanding for natural resources in this country, it must be ratified by Parliament for that to have validity. So whatever we decide to put into an agreement for proper negotiation is what we are going to have. And once Parliament passes that, that becomes the agreement. So I don't see where we are going forth and back with an ally to regulate a sliding scale to a percentage to put at 3. When it rises about $200, we increase it to 5%, and when it goes above 1,000, then we increase to 10% of it. In any case, what is going to be the baseline rate that we are going to use to do the percentage calculations upwards? If we believe an ally can confer validity of a contract or a lease in terms of natural resource mining, then you should go ahead and do that rather than worrying us with all of these things. You see, it is only because they've wasted this country's time and the people of our OESI for the past 2 years. This started way back in 2003 for section and whatever started in 2016.
And now because they would want to find something to do and they fell short and they were left backwards in terms of the negotiation, bringing us back to 5%, they need to put something out there in the domain to tell us that they are now going to bring an airline to regulate how we negotiate on percentages. I mean, this is incomprehensible.
I will leave the conversation here for now. Mr. Akwesi Kunedwan, he's a deputy ranking member on the Lands and Natural Resources Committee in Parliament.
And two other stories this evening. The Ghana Water Limited has accepted the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC's new 15.92% tariff increment for 2026 to 2030. The new rate granted by the PRC, which also gives the Electricity Company of Ghana 9.86% kicks start from January next year. Well, this comes after months of consultation with the utility service providers, stakeholders, and citizens across the country. We'll get more on this shortly, but first, Head of Research at Joy News, Isaac Kofi has joined us in the studio to help us break down the figures. Kofi, let's start with how much these companies have demanded and how much has been granted.
Well, so Ken, you remember that Ghana Water Limited was demanding some 281% increase in their tariff, and they got 9.86%. For ECG was demanding 225% increase in their tariff. They got, they rather got 9.86, and Ghana Water Company got 15.92, percent. So technically, if you look at the numbers, proposals versus, the actual or the approvals, you can see the variance is very, very wide. But what we know, per the data that we've been gathering since 2018, is that usually utility companies will go very high in terms of their proposals, but in terms of the approval within the last, from 2018 to 2025, the average we've checked for, ECG has been around 15% increase, and for Ghana Water Company has also been around that same average. The highest we have seen so far in terms of the multi-year tariff adjustment was in 2022 when ECG got more than 20% increase in their tariff, which was simply also, even around that time, lower than what they proposed.
And what did PRC consider in arriving at these rates?
Different for the two utility companies. For ECG, for instance, there was a lot on the generation mix that was really considered. Inflation, the exchange rate situation, all of that was considered. Based on what the Ghana Water Company also submitted to PRC, you could see that they were very, very heavy on illegal mining. The fact that I remember, in September, Ghana Water Company made it clear that if you don't approve the 280, that we are requesting for, we could face a shutdown because most of our plants are currently being threatened by illegal miners, and we needed a lot for operational and maintenance costs. But unfortunately, they did not get the 281% that they requested for. They only got about 15.92%.
And of course, it's ultimately the consumer that's going to bear the brand. What does this mean for the average consumer?
So I'd want us to focus on electricity, for instance. I know that based on the data we have, those who consume between 0 to 30 kilowatts hour are those who fall within the lifeline, right? So if you take the extreme of this range, so let's assume that within a month you are consuming 30 kilowatts hour and you're falling within the lifeline bracket. Currently, what you pay to ECG as distribution service charge is 2 cedis 40 pesos. Now, based on this new adjustment from January or from the first quarter of next year, you are going to pay 2 cedis 64 pesos to ECG as distribution service charge. And if you are within the bracket of 300 kilowatt hour, which majority of Ghanaians, or on the average, this is where majority of Ghanaians are, you currently pay 5 cedis, 46 pesos per every, for that 300 kilowatt hour that you consume to ECG as, distribution service charge. But now, if this is approved, already approved, but if this takes effect in, the first quarter of next year, that 5 cedis, 46 pesos is going to increase to 6 cedis as your, the service distribution service charge that we pay to ECG. So clearly, consumers should expect some upward adjustment. And for the fact that even the first quarter of 2026 will also come with its own automatic tariff adjustment.
Kofi, Ajay is the head of research here at Joy News. Thank you, Kofi.
And joining us for a conversation on this, Stanley Mate, he's a communications manager at the Ghana Water Limited. Also, Collins Adomako Mensah, ranking member on the Energy Committee. And then later we'll speak to Dr. Eric Obute, Director Research and Corporate Affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. But now we'll start with the Ghana Water Limited. Mr. Stanley Mate, good evening and thank you for your time on Newsnight. Now, you have accepted the 15.92% tariff increment, which was approved by the PRC. But before the determination of this rate, you told us that you may have to shut down if you don't get a significant margin because of the rising cost of treatment. Now, how will you survive with this new figure? Mr. Mate, can you hear me? Unfortunately, we don't have Mr. Mate on the line. We do have him now. Mr. Mate, Stanley Mate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Paul.
Well, I was saying that before the determination of this new rate, you told us that you may have to shut down if you don't get a significant margin because of the rising cost of treatment, of course, because of the galamsey menace. How will you survive now with the 15.92%?
All right. Thank you very much for having me as well. Okay, so this has been the usual practice. You know, the PLC gives us a formula, and then we have to input in our operational costs, our financials, and everything. And then based on that, we arrive at a certain figure. And that is why we arrived at the 281% increment. Okay, but the usual practice is that they also go and do their own calculations, and then they come out with their own tariffs. Now, the tariffs are such that they have line items. So we are going to look at the line items within and in the tariff as proposed to us or as given to us, and then we will work with it as it is. Now, we have always been managing this organization over all this while prudently, and that is why we are able to survive. We'll keep managing and hope that we'll be able to improve despite what we have, and that has been our mission and our vision. So we'll work hard and ensure that we serve the people of Ghana efficiently.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stanley Mate. He's the communications manager at the Ghana Water Limited. Kenneth, we have other people to speak to.
We can now speak to Dr. Eric Obute, who is the Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Thank you for your time once again. There were demands by other entities like NETCO, VRA, and so on. So far, we've not heard anything from their side. Were theirs approved as well?
Hello, thank you very much for having me on this platform. I just first and foremost want to correct a few figures which were put out by your research fellow. I think he said his name is Kofi or something like that. If I heard him right, he was saying something like the service charge, if you are a lifeliner, is 2 cedis 46 pesos. And that is incorrect. The service charge is 2 cedis 13 pesos. And that service charge has not changed. The service charge is 2 cedis 13 pesos, and it has not changed. Now, if you are a lifeline consumer, currently you pay 80 pesos per kilowatt hour. Actually, it's 80.43 pesos per kilowatt hour. However, we are seeing that from January 2026, if you are a lifeliner, you will pay 88 pesos, 88.37 pesos. That means that effectively 8 pesos has been added to every unit of consumption in that bracket. Again, also, it says that if you are in another residential customer, between 0 to 300, your rate is about 5 cedis 45 pesos or so. I think that's what he said. And that's also incorrect. The rate there currently, if you are consuming between 0 to 300, and it's all in the statement actually. If you are consuming between 0 to 300, you pay 1 cedi 82 pesos for every unit of electricity you consume. Right now, you pay 1 cedi 82 pesos. From January 2026, you pay 2 cedis. 2 cedis. So effectively, you are paying 18 pesos in addition to what you are paying now.
Okay. Dr. Obute, thanks for the clarification, but Isaac Ofieje is back in the studio. He also wants to clarify a few things, Isaac.
So, I mean, we have to pay attention that what we said was that if you look at the different brackets, we are taking the extremes. So, for instance, if you take the lifeline consumers, it's between 0 and 30. And we understand that if you look at the PRC's, current, tariff, if you are consuming per kilowatt hour, you need to pay attention. 80 pesos currently. The new charge or the new, tariff adjustment will take it to 88 pesos per kilowatt hour. If you are multiplying it by the highest number of 30 kilowatt hour, that is 2 cedis 40 pesos for the current one and 2 cedis 64 pesos if this one takes effect in January. If you are looking at the 0 to 300 kilowatt hour, we took the extreme number of 300 because the average data shows that majority of Ghanaians are within this bracket. So if you are looking at 300 kilowatt hour per kilowatt hour, is 1 cedi 82 pesos, and that's the current one. And if we take the adjustments in January, that is 2 cedis per kilowatt hour. If you multiply that by the 300 kilowatt hour that we are looking at, that gives you 5 cedis 46 pesos for the current one and 6 cedis if the new adjustment takes effect.
Thank you, Kofi.
5 cedis 46 pesos for what? Because we need to be very clear on some of these numbers so that we don't confuse the public.
Dr.
It's not as simple as a computation because we have what we call the reckoner. And the reckoner, we have a reckoner which you use to do a computation, so we get a final figure for the end user. But what is done is just taking the face value of it. We could go through the numbers.
Right.
That's what we have to do.
Dr. Obute, we will go through the numbers on a different day. But now, though, I want to find out from you what the other demands of the entities, what's the status of it? We know of NETCO, VRA, and so on. They also made some demands, but we've not heard anything. Were theirs approved?
Yes, so you see the 9.86 is across board for all the people in the value chain. So it's from generation through transmission to distribution. So the 9.86 cuts across. It's just that every aspect of the value chain will have their VRA has its own tariff in there. The IPPs have their own tariff. Each IPP has its own tariff. The transmission company, GRICO, has its own tariff. And the distribution service company, that's NETCO and ECD, also have their own tariffs. But on the whole, if you put it together in the basket, the weighted percentage is 9.86.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for the clarification. Dr. Eric Obute is the Director of Research and Corporate Affairs with the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Collins Adumako Mensah is a ranking member on the Energy Committee. He's joined us on the telephone lines right now. Thank you very much for your time. Does the minority accept this new rate that is coming to effect?
Well, first of all, let me correct. I am the Deputy Ranking on the Energy Committee.
Right.
And I was enjoying the debate between your research officer and the PR from PRC. Bottom line is that from the 1st of January, there's going to be some increase. Consumers should brace themselves to accommodate that increase. Now, I want to congratulate the PRC for one thing. They did a lot of consultations before this particular announcement. This particular announcement is quite different from the quarterly adjustment that normally occurs within the year. This is what we call the major tariff adjustment, which normally occurs after 3 or 5 years. We need to understand that there are some capital expenditures, major capital expenditures, that have to be undertaken by the utility agencies. And that is what this announcement is to take care of. The initial announcement of 200 and something percent was obviously not going to be accepted. And if you recall, on this same platform, both myself and the chairman of the Energy Committee were very clear in our mind that there was no way we were going to accept a over 200% increment to take care of capital expenditures. So, in as much as we are not too much excited about an increment, I think a 9% is far better than a 200 and something percent increment. However, Ghanaians should brace ourselves because it's likely that at the end of the first quarter, based on the economic factors, they could come back to announce another increment.
Collins Adumako Mensah, thank you very much. That's the deputy ranking member on the Energy Committee, and that takes us to business. And George is here with the latest. George, what do you have for us?
It's an interesting discussion because industries are also saying that some of them could end up passing on that cost to you as a consumer to pay in terms of these tariffs that are expected to go up from next year. And government likely to end 2025 with a record inflation after November rate reached its lowest since 2021. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Synthesis tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Mappe. Et Mappy. French, you dear. This is midi croissant.
Meet Jan. She makes Sobolo in a small shop in Kaswa. She's going places with MTN Ejumapa. Now, she's learning French kakra to teach her francophone customers indigenous recipes.
Watashi no namae wa.
Watashi no namae. Boy.
Whoa. She's learning Japanese too? Watashi. What? If you're a woman with a small business, join MTN Ejumapa today by dialing *5060# and enjoy 150 megabytes data, a lifestyle bundle for social media, free MTN to MTN calls every Monday, and an insurance cover. You will also gain access to expert training, discounts on digital tools, and financial support to grow the business of your dreams. Terms and conditions apply. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school. A farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Brushing gets more fun with your kids with the new Pepsodent Kids toothpaste. Give your smiles protection that lasts. Grab yours today from a store near you. This advert is FDA approved.
For many years,
we've been solving Ghana's water storage problems with quality tanks. Syntex tank. You know, it is strong, it's tough, and reliable. And now, we're in to solve the #1 problem when it comes to water carriage: our pipes. With the state-of-the-art machinery, Syntex is providing very strong, tough, reliable, high quality, and durable pipes at a reasonable price. This is Syntex Pipes. With Syntex Pipes, water flows wow. I mean, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. If they carry water, no wahala. With Syntex Pipe, our water problems are solved. Syntex, are you strong? Are you tough?
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's maths we love. Or your community could win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere.
Every mosquito starting run away.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, industries and manufacturing firms have indicated that they will have no other option than to pass on the cost of utility hikes to consumers. Electricity and water tariffs are set to witness one of its highest increases in recent times, starting from January next year. The move is part of the multi-year tariff order implementation by the industry regulator, PURC. Sechuma Kwabwa is chief executive of the Association of Ghana Industries.
There are some companies that energy cost constitutes a significant part of their cost of production. It could go as high as 30% in the case of the steel industry because it consumes so much power. In their case, if you have almost 10% increase in tariff levels, naturally they cannot absorb all of it because it means so much cost to them and it impacts heavily on their bottom line. For those that energy costs may not be as significant and therefore they probably can absorb it, they will do so. Remember, even when they are adjusting their prices, it's not proportionate to the changes in the energy cost because there are other elements of the cost that they are taking into account. They also take account of the competition and so on and so forth. So the companies will adjust differently. My only comment...
Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa. Now, government is likely to end the year with a record inflation rate still keeping within that single-digit band. Now, this was after the November rate hit 6.3%, the lowest since the rebasing in 2021. There is more in this report.
Government at the beginning of this year was hoping to end 2025 with an inflation rate of 11.9%. However, it is now clear that government will end the year beating that target, and it is now doing far better than what it had projected. Again, it was expected that government will end the year achieving the lower band of the single-digit inflation. Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama recently disclosed that they are hoping to end the year with an inflation rate of about 4%. This development could put some fresh pressure on the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana to cut its rate further when they meet in January 2026. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the drop in the November inflation was influenced by declining price of some foodstuff as well as non-food items. The November rate of 6.3% is the 11th consecutive decline since December last year and the lowest since the rebasing of the inflation since 2021. The Ghana Statistical Service also cites current fiscal consolidation program being implemented by government as well as the current liquidity squeeze by the Bank of Ghana as a major contributing factor. Data showed that inflation rate for imported items was far lower than items that were produced locally. On the food side, inflation could have been lower than what was recorded for the month of November if it had not been items such as charcoal, smoked herrings, and fresh plantain, which were among the top 3 items that contributed to the current inflation levels.
And that is a business desk report. Meanwhile, government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu has been explaining why imported inflation is lower than locally produced items.
Imported inflation is heavily influenced by exchange rate movements. And as I mentioned, we've seen significant appreciation of the cedi against the US, in fact, against all major currencies, major foreign currencies. And so once we've seen significant appreciation of the currency, all other things being equal, what it means is that your inflation on imported items are likely to what? To go down. So that's one of the reasons why we are seeing a very fast disinflation process for imported items. But I must also say that these are goods that we're importing into the system. And because we're importing them, it means they are coming from outside. And so if the prices outside, if the global conditions are favorable in terms of prices, then you'd also see this fast disinflation we are seeing on imported items.
Dr. Hassan Idrisu is a government statistician. Now, CalBank now has the required capital and funds at hand to aid its expansion drive and growth as a financial institution. Now, this is coming after the bank was able to raise more than 1 billion Ghana cedis in private placement. The amount secured is more than the 900 million Ghana cedis targeted during the offer. CalBank, in a statement issued to investors, noted that this will help in rebuilding the capital buffers, strengthen its balance sheet, and support bigger transactions. Now, Director of Procurement at Ghana Great Company, Benjamin Kinford Inston, is urging increased private sector investment in transmission infrastructure to strengthen power distribution in the country. Speaking at the West African Energy Corporation Summit, he stressed that such investments are vital to advancing regional power integration.
The power sector is such that you have the 3 linkages: generation, transmission, and distribution. If you have all the power plants and you don't have the transmission bit of it, the power will not get to the distributor who distributes to our homes. So requirement of investment in transmission is critical. Otherwise, you produce the power and it never gets to where it's needed. It's like having a water company producing the water and then there's no pipeline to get the water to where it's needed.
And that is the Director of Procurement at the Ghana Great Company, Benjamin Kingsford Intel. Now, to other story, the Chief Executive and Country Head of EMPLE, Dr. Rafik Daudi, says that the company is leveraging technology to bridge Ghana's large informal sector. He adds that their approach is expanding access to insurance, supported by the 24-hour service commitment. He spoke to joy business at the rebranding of Metropolitan Insurance.
Everything about our company, our business, our products, our services, and everything. And we are also 24-hour service away from you, and so you can always reach us as and when you actually require our services. We believe that technology should bridge the gap between the formal and the informal sector. For instance, the Momo platform is gaining currency because, though it's technology-driven, but it appeals to the informal sector. We have a large informal sector in this country. Nearly 80% of the workforce in this country is in the informal sector. So technology is going to play a mediating role. Already, we have rolled out a number of technology-driven products that are expanding insurance reach in this country and creating value for our customers.
Dr. Rafik Daudi is the Chief Executive and Country Head of EMPLE. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, George. Let's bring you sports now.
In 2021, MTN FA Cup champions Accra Hearts of Oak suffered a shock early exit from this season's competition after a 1-0 defeat to Division 2 side True Life FC at the round of 64 stage. The Phobians fell off a morale-boosting fresh off a morale-boosting victory over Vision FC on Sunday, had hoped to build on that momentum at Pobiman Sports Complex. Instead, they were stunned late in the game. Head coach Didi Dramani opted to rotate his squad, handing opportunities to several French players. The decision backfired as True Life FC capitalized in the 78th minute, scoring the only goal of the game to seal a famous victory. The defeat marks the second time in 3 years that Hearts of Oak have been eliminated by a lower division side at the same venue, adding to the club's growing frustrations in the FA Cup. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel. Let's bring you more stories tonight because chiefs of the Aguna Nyakrum traditional area are calling on government to take urgent action against illegal mining in the eastern region upstream of the Ayensu River. Though the community previously resisted Galamsey on its own lands, renewed activity upstream has now polluted the river. The main source for the Kwanyakrum water treatment plant serving Aguna Nyakrum and surrounding communities. The contamination is affecting more than 10 districts in the central region, leaving thousands without access to clean water. Emmanuel Jivanu has more in today's episode of Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey.
The Ayesu River is being destroyed by people who think they came into this world only to chase wealth.
The chiefs in the Aguna Nyakrum traditional area are in a council meeting. They are meeting because an old wound has been reopened.
Our leaders are complicit in this illegal mining. I don't have that kind of money to buy equipment for illegal mining.
Years ago, they fought and stopped illegal miners who attempted to dig close to the Ayensu River within their lands. They resisted and protected the river. They won the battle, but the war has returned. The river they saved is dying because of illegal mining in Apepem of the eastern region.
For about 10 years, for 10 years, the water's color has been changing. Our investigation in Apepemu confirmed illegal mining. If you fetch the water, you see sand particles. This past year, it has become worse.
Almost 1 year, after the eye west. The Kwenyako treatment plant, which feeds about 10 districts, is now struggling to feed even one. As the chiefs sit in council, frustrated by the Galamsey crisis upstream, the impact hits residents like Kofi. He has no choice but to use the polluted Ayensu River.
We cannot use the Ayensu River anymore. It was our only source of water for cooking and drinking. But today, it is no longer safe. Our community leaders must act. We, the youth, cannot confront the illegal miners operating in faraway town. We are pleading with our leaders to take action.
With the Ayensu River heavily polluted and the treatment plant failing, an equally polluted stream is now a source of water for many households.
Let's take you now to the Upper East region, and as part of efforts to promote agroecology as a climate adaptation and mitigation strategy in Ghana, the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development has engaged district assembly officials in that region on the benefits of sustainable farming practices. The meeting dubbed the Agroecology Caravan Tour brought together coordinating directors, budget and financial officers and environmental officers, and included a field visit to a farm where participants experienced agroecology in practice. Correspondent Albert Sori reports for Climate Focus.
The Ghana Agroecology Movement includes the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, SICOD, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, PFAG, and other farmer groups nationwide. The movement has been pushing for the adoption and investment into agroecology, a farming method based on applying the interactions between plants, animals, humans, and the environment within agricultural systems. SICOD recently brought together district assembly officials from 3 districts of the Upper East region to discuss the benefits of agroecology. Deputy Executive Director for SICOD, Wilberforce Lati, emphasized the need for a shift from chemical-based farming to agroecology.
Agroecology hinges on our indigenous practices. The issue about recycling, synergy between crops and animals and all that. biodiversity. These are all elements or principles of agroecology. And we believe that if we embark on those things, we will not rely so much on external inputs for agriculture. And that is when we will be able to save a lot of money. Government must be intentional about promoting it.
And that's how we end News 9 tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
And right after News 9 is Strong and Sassy with Enimwa. Enimwa, why are you hiding? I've not seen you.
No, I haven't seen you.
Yeah.
How are you? All good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. So, we've been talking about domestic violence. There's also the 16 days of activism going on. And last week we started the series Suffering in Silence. We're talking about abuse and the kind of support that's out there. But tonight we're talking about the emotional impact of abuse and how to navigate the emotions and find a place of strength and freedom. So that's what's coming up on Strong and Sassy. Do stay tuned in. I'm going.
I hope the abuse is not only the one towards women, the one towards men are also going to be discussed.
Well, a little bit, because Strong and Sassy is a women's show. So we'll be talking about the women.
Men are also suffering in silence. So.
Yes, okay.